First, I play club soccer.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
For me, the real question was, do I want to play Division 1, 3, or club? I was really in between what I wanted to do. So junior and sophomore years of soccer, I wasn't really getting recruited. I was so frustrated. Excuse me. But my senior year, I had a really breakout year. All credit Kyle Shilcock Elliott put me in a new position at central back, and I had a really successful year. And most of my friends had already committed to playing Division 1 or 3. These two right here, and something I really wanted to do. So I looked into the few schools that recruited me, but from the get-go applying to school, I always wanted to go to a big school and somewhere where they had a lot of huge programs. I can go flood the courts, the basketball courts after a big win or whatever. So I wasn't really getting recruited by many big schools like that. So I ultimately decided to go to Delaware and play at the club level.
Terrific. And Tyler, how did you choose? How did you think about choosing to play D1 lacrosse?
Well, for me, there was a bunch of different factors that went into it. I looked at, like Matt, all different levels, different leagues, different divisions. What it came down to is I was looking for a school that kind of gave me the best opportunity to be successful after college and during college. Being a competitive person like I am, I want to challenge myself. So playing at the Division 1 level, I thought I could play against the best competition, get a chance to play and play against the best there is in the country. So I decided to play at Notre Dame, where not only is it one of the best academic institutions, but for lacrosse, it's also a top 10 school where we play against top competition and get to test ourselves every single week and in practice every single day.
Terrific. Okay, so we understood why you chose and how you chose, but so Jackie, given the choice you did make, I guess now you've been there for
2 years now.
2 years, right? Second year. What's been the biggest surprise? And that can be positive or negative. Remember, we're trying to share, lessons learned. So, what's been the biggest surprise?
Well, I actually redshirted my freshman year because I had hip surgery, and I think just the biggest surprise in terms of that is how faithful my coach was, which it doesn't happen that often, and I think making sure that you find someone who's committed to you for 4 or 5 years is really important, and I think that's just the other surprise is, well, there's 3 parts of college: academic, athletic, and social, and I think the biggest surprise for me was how much I have to sacrifice. And I mean, it's a wonderful thing. I love playing. I did really well this fall in my first year playing, and was really successful individually. But just to keep in mind that you can only be stellar at 2 of the 3 things unless you're a freak. So I really had to put my social on the back burner during the season, and that's hard for some people, and some people it's a different combination, but for me personally, it's making sure that I have my athletics and academics in order, and social comes 3rd on the list. So.
Terrific. Thank you for that candor. That's great. Matt, how about you?
Yeah, just to add a little bit of what I said before was the skill level. I went into Dickinson the first day of practice thinking I was going to run the show, but really I was getting beat up by guys that were 6'4". So you see in the Division 3 level, there is still a competitiveness where there's guys that could play Division 1, but they decided to go and play Division 3 for various reasons. So the skill level is one, and Division 3, there is a sort of commitment, and you hear when you're getting recruited in Division 3 level that the winners you have off, the coaches for NCAA rules aren't allowed to be there, but and I thought there was going to be, it was going to be easy. But when it came down to it, we had lacrosse 5 days a week in the winter. The coach isn't there, but we're doing 6 in the morning runs, this every day. So the commitment is still at the same level as Division 1.
Terrific. Good. And how about you, Max? What surprised you about your club soccer experience?
Well, going into playing a club sport, I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. Even talking to people at other schools, the club is different everywhere. And I had a little cockiness to me. I was like an all Delco, all mainline soccer player, so I assumed I was just going to go run the tryout. And I remember I got there, you know, I was a little nervous, but cocky at the same time. And I walked on the field, and there was like 200 people there, like all wearing their all Delco, all whatever gear. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, didn't get the memo to wear my all Delco gear, but I just remember how tough it was, and like I really had to put myself forward. And luckily, I made the team, and I think 7 of us made it out of the 200, which was a great accomplishment. And so that was one surprise. Another is I've been fortunate enough to be on a very good team, and we've gone to nationals the last 3 years, which is in Arizona. So I have a nice little 5-day vacation every year in Arizona during the fall.
That's terrific. Yeah, I've heard from lots of other stuff. There are a few other boys and girls that I've gotten to know through these guys that play club sports, and I've been amazed at how competitive it actually is, and there are national championships and all the lot. So that's terrific. Tyler, how about you? What surprised you about Notre Dame?
Well, for me, I've been blessed to have a great coach and a great coaching staff at Notre Dame, where for me the big surprise is the opportunities that they give me and my teammates. For example, this fall our head coach took us to New York for a networking trip where we went and saw Credit Suisse. We went to a Clear Channel, which runs iHeartRadio and other radio stations, and we saw Morgan Stanley. So we just went in. Coach knew the head guy who walks in, starts talking to the guy, and we had a sit-down meeting with one of the top executives at Morgan Stanley for 20 minutes. And you don't really get that kind of exposure at Big Ten anywhere else. And playing for my coach and my coaching staff, they've given us opportunities like we went to Japan. So like Dave was talking about, where you might not be able to go abroad, we got the opportunity to go to Japan for a week where we played the Japanese national team. And we spent a week in Tokyo and in Roppongi, which was a great experience. It's not the same thing as going abroad, but he wanted to give us an experience where we could go be somewhere else because we don't have the same luxury as being abroad like some other students do, some other institutions. And also, like Matt said, the big surprise for me was probably time commitment. They tell you that it's a big commitment, but they don't tell you enough. It's a 4, 5, maybe 6 hour day, 6 days a week. Especially during the season, you're watching film, you're going to practice, you're lifting, and then you're watching film again. You're up early in the morning to go watch individual film. You're up to do individual workouts, to condition to run. I mean, and then on top of that, you're doing your homework for your classes. So I mean, it's a lot to do, but so you really have to love what you do because they test you. So that was probably the biggest surprise for me, along with the opportunities they give you.
Great, thanks. So we'll wrap it up with just one simple question for each of you. As you speak to the parents that are in the audience and perhaps any students, what advice do you have for any young person considering sports at the next level? Jackie?
I would just say work as hard as you can, have a lot of fun in high school, especially with your team. It's a lot different in college. For me personally, it's really different for me because I'm in an individual sport, and but I mean all the guys here can agree with me where you're going to be competing with your teammates to get a spot to play, and in high school, it's not as, it's still extremely competitive, but you have a lot of fun with the people. You have a really good camaraderie, especially my senior year with a lot of the girls on my team, and you get to enjoy the people that you're with in high school. So enjoy it, and don't rush into your decision either. Take your time with college decisions. I committed before my junior year started, and I can tell you if I hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't have gone to Illinois. And I'm blessed that I'm there, but make your decision and take your time with it.
Terrific. Matt, any advice from you?
Yeah, work hard in school. That's my major advice there. But also, play as many sports as you can. I come from a hockey family. My sister and brother played. I never played in high school. And if I could go back, I would definitely play for 4 years. I love the sport, and going and watching it now, I would rather not be able to play those 4 years. And in the sport that is not your main sport, work as hard as you can possible, because you can get in shape. Playing high school, I played soccer here for 3 years on the varsity squad, and it got me in shape for lacrosse, and make the most out of it.
Great. Max?
My advice would just be, you know, a lot of people look at club and they're like, oh, you don't play Division I or Division III sports, like you're not good enough or whatever. But that's really not the case. You know, it's very competitive, and it's actually given me the opportunity to join a fraternity and do other social things at school, and giving me the opportunity to have leadership positions. So I think it's definitely a plus. Something people should definitely consider if you're not playing at the highest level. So.
Terrific. Great. And Tyler, how about you?
Work hard in high school, especially no matter what sport you're playing, whether it's your main sport or a sport you're just another sport that you're just playing. I'll be walking to class some days, and all of a sudden I'll start thinking about some football games I had in high school where I remember a certain play. And I go back and like, geez, if I did this, if I did that, you know, it could have been something different. And I'm a junior in college, and I'm thinking about senior year playing high school football. So just live it up when you have it, because it goes by fast, and I would love to go back and do a couple things over again. So just take advantage of your opportunities that the coaches here give you, and just work hard, because you're going to regret some things, and just make those regrets as little as possible.
Terrific. Just before we wrap up, any questions for this panel here from the audience? Anyone? Well, I trust you'd agree. I mean, an impressive group here, and you know, these are just 4 of the products of what Radnor has been able to generate as an institution. It's pretty impressive stuff. You guys comported yourself very well. Thank you very much for doing that. I'll wrap it up here and just say, you know, you heard a lot of different things tonight. We did our best to try to bring you some facts, some reality, some sort of first-person perspective. It isn't lost on me, and frankly, it's a big part of our motivation for doing this, that you heard from coaches, you heard from administrators, you heard from students, that high school and middle school, for that matter, are a unique period of time in your life where you have the opportunity to play multiple sports. And every one of these kids, most of these coaches, in their own careers played multiple sports when they were in high school. They didn't succumb to the pressures of just play this one sport because that's the sport I'm going to play in college. I can't tell you the number of coaches who I hear that from. I heard it when Tyler was getting recruited. I talked to my former football coach, who's now the head coach at Bucknell, the other day. Unaided, he said to me, talking to him about my 9th grade son, he said, whatever you do, don't let Alex just play football. Make sure he plays other sports. The school needs it. We're a small school. To be competitive, we've got to have kids playing multiple sports. But most importantly, it's good for your kids, and it's also good for Radnor. So anyway, thank you very much to all of you, and thank you so much for